Finally this morning, it is my honor to introduce Dr. Andrew Sun. Dr. Sun comes to us from St. Augustine College in Chicago, where he worked with a population of students that looks very much like our population. He grew up around the world with a mother who was part of the United Nations. He understands different cultures, different environments. He understands our students, and he comes with the passion for our students that brings everyone to Heritage University. I'm hoping that we will hear from him today a bit more about who he is and where he sees us going, and I'm very pleased to introduce to you Dr. Andrew Sun.
Thank you, Dr. Faith, and I'm very happy to be here. This is the least fun of president's job, right? I mean, to be a new president where there's many faces I recognize, but a lot that I have not met yet. It's interesting. I've been here a bit over a month, and there's a lot of new faces in this room, so hopefully we will fix that today, that we're getting to meet each other again. It's a transition in my life to be here, and Dr. Faith just pretty much said everything I wanted to say, so. I did want to say that it's a transition. I've been living in Chicago for a long time. Noting some of the gear I see today, I need to learn to like the Seahawks. Which is actually not a hard thing, at least for a Midwestern person like me, a Bears fan for many years. It's not a hard thing. The Seahawks are not a hated team in the rest of the nation, at least in the Midwest. They're easier to like if I moved to New York or Dallas or something. that would be harder. So that I'm looking forward to. So it's the first time that I address this group, so I'd like to say that I'm going to touch a little bit as to why I'm here, what I believe in, some of the things I see us doing, obviously from a macro level, not the detail that it involves as we work with each one of you in your areas. And I'm going to try to perhaps answer questions you have about me, about Heritage, about the future. I'm pretty sure, though, that I will not answer every single question you have in your minds. So I will open it up for questions at the end, too, so you can ask me more if there's a particular topic that you would like to learn more about. I'd be very happy to address it the best I can with the knowledge I have so far, because I do believe in being a very open and transparent person, and I always share the way I think. I don't always have all the answers, and I'm not supposed to. It's not the job of the president to have all the answers, but I do share the way I think and how I approach ways, and I'm happy to address any topics today. Related to something that came up earlier in several of the presentations, I would like to point out, particularly you're thinking about classes on Monday and the eclipse. We actually had scheduled a VP's meeting for exactly the time of the eclipse, and we changed it. So feel free also to make changes to your own schedules to be able to see the eclipse. And I heard on the radio, no, not a scientist, but I heard on the radio that it's also very interesting to not just to look at the eclipse, but to see what happens on the ground and shades, how they move very quickly and change and all that. So take advantage of that too. Well, once again, I'd like to say that I'm very happy to be part of Heritage University, to be here with you. And I would like to thank you all for welcoming me and for being so nice to me this past month or so that I've been here. I believe that I've gotten a feel for many of the things that are going on, but undoubtedly it's going to be a learning process for me for a while, and I often tell people I'm in a listening tour. I welcome everybody to come and talk to me because I do listen and I do absorb. I do absorb everything that's going on around me as we try and think in what are we going to do for the future. So yes, new time at Heritage, new president. That always brings, I hope, some excitement to people, that there's perhaps new directions, new ideas that are going to come, new things that we can do. It also brings anticipation, perhaps even some anxiety as to what this person wants to do, how they're going to shape the institution. And I acknowledge that, and I want to work with you through that process, because I do need, and that's part of the theme today, I do need all your input, as has been mentioned by other people from the very beginning of the day today through all the presentations. We are a group that's working together here And I need the input from everybody in this room and not this room, because I think we employ more people than the ones that are here today, that to make sure that we move the institution in the direction we want to go. Now, I am a new president, I'm aware of that, but I don't come here to vacuum. I understand that there is a context. There is a context of 35 years of history of Heritage University. You could argue a very short history. 35 years in terms of higher education, it's nothing. Most institutions in the United States date to the 19th century or so. Some go to the colonial period. And if you go back to Europe, they go back to the Middle Ages. And in that sense, we're very new and we're very different. And that, to me, is a very good thing. It's a very exciting thing. Higher education was not created in the Middle Ages in Europe, in Italy, England. Not Italy, it wasn't Italy back then, but whatever. Whatever it was not created to serve the people we want to serve at Heritage University. And it was created really to serve elites, to certify knowledge, certain kinds of knowledge, for the elites of society. And we're purposely taking a different direction at this institution, and we all need to be very proud of that. And I believe that part of our job is not just to welcome students to Heritage, but also to transform what higher education looks like to make sure that those people are successful in our environment. The way we support them, the way we teach them, the way we do everything has to be different from other institutions. It's not enough to just open the door and say you're welcome, because that's a leave. Retention is an issue. It's a question of opening the door and then creating the systems, the supports within our institution so that they can succeed. And we have to do this because we're forced to within the context of higher education, meaning accreditation, acceptance by the Department of Education so that our students can qualify for financial aid, and so on. We need to be part of the world of higher education, yet we need to be unique to serve our student population. And that's our challenge. It's always going to be our challenge. And in that context, the first challenge was, of course, beginning this institution, 1982, I believe. Some of you perhaps were here, and not many anymore. That's normal after 35 years. And of course, the first president, Sister Kathleen, had a tremendous, tremendous job to start this institution and take it from virtually nothing to having a place with buildings and faculty and staff and parking lots with cars. It's a monumental job, and one that requires certain kinds of skills that she had and has, very entrepreneurial skills to where you get started with something, you sometimes don't have time to think about it or consult 20 people or anything. You just go with what is the best action you can take in a certain time and move on. Never fear obstacles because you need to overcome them, and immediately, I've heard stories little by little, maybe stories that all of you have heard, how supporters of the institution, workers of the institution had to take loans in order to help with payroll, remortgage their homes in certain periods of the institution. That happens when you begin a college, when you begin an institution. And that history went for a long period of time. I mean, Sister Kathleen was president for about 28 years or something like that. Very important work. But I would like you to take a second and think about how hard it is to be the next person after that. To be the follower of a founder is a tremendous task. And I think much credit is deserved for John Bassett, Dr. Bassett, for the work he did in coming here and having to sort of culturally explain to the community that this is not an institution that depends on one person. It's more than that. It's everybody. It's the whole community within the university and the community outside of it. Everybody is part of Heritage University in this valley in one way or another. And in that sense, he had to play a very important role of establishing that concept that this goes beyond the founder. This is going to be an institution that is going to persist through time, and that deserves a lot of credit. I think more credit that people mention. It's a very, very difficult task and one that I admire very much. There's many things he accomplished that I can see. There's buildings programs. I think was a major legacy for John Bassett is going to be, not the only one, but a major one, is going to be the master's degree in health programs that are going to be sustainable for a long time, and very, very powerful statement to the community in this valley to have those programs here. But there we go. We have those two presidents. We have the founder. We have the person that took the next step and brought some consistency and culture to make the institution a place that's going to persist over time, left some legacies for the rest of us. And now it's my turn. So what is it that I have to do? What do you think? We'll figure it out. Third president. By chance, I was also the third president at the last institution. And I like to start by saying why I'm here. Well, I'm here because, as it was mentioned, I truly believe in the mission. I truly believe, and I actually like the new statement too. I haven't memorized it. I think I should, and so should we all. I haven't yet. And I like to say that it fits with what I decided, and some of you heard the speech already when you met me in the interview process or at other points, but it fits with the way I see my life. I was, from a sort of an early age, interested in higher education and intellectual pursuits, and perhaps following a traditional kind of doctoral program to work as a faculty member, a researcher in a Research One institution, write books and things like that. That I thought was going to be my path. At the same time, from an early age, after living in several countries and being influenced by both my parents, although probably more my mother and the memory of my father because he died when I was very young, I was also very influenced by believing that we had to do something in our lives to improve the world. In the case of my family, that was usually expressed in politics. You participate in the political process. And at some point, I sort of felt that, although I'm very politically minded, it's not what I'm going to do. I combined it in a way of saying what I really want to do is I want to improve society. I want to play a role in helping people. I want to be part of bringing social justice to the world, to the people around in whatever space I have, and I'm going to do that through education. Education is the way I still believe, I actually do believe it. With its problems, we have our own problems in education. We're also a hegemonic force, for those of you who like to think that way. But it is a path that's still valuable in terms of fixing historical problems of inequality in our society. Higher education is still the path. And I did do the exercise that was mentioned a little earlier, what did we like from the mission, what resonates with each one of us. And this goes back to the beginning, I grabbed two words that were not together, so it was overcome ... barriers. That what resonated with me most of all, that I think that's our job, that we help our students overcome whatever barrier they feel they have to achieve their goal of higher education. Is it financial? We're going to bend backwards to find ways so that that's not the issue. And as we all know, although that's usually the number one issue our students face, it's not the only one. It's time, it's confidence, it's problems at home. You think of it, there's all sorts of issues that the student population that we've chosen to serve by mission faces. And what guides me is that whatever we do needs to focus on helping students overcome the barriers that are presented to them. I would like to say just briefly that although most of my experience has been in that realm and in undergraduate education, I am very excited at what has become sort of an extension of Heritage's mission with the graduate programs, particularly in health, but also education, which is not so much to provide access to higher education. Many of those students have had good access to higher education, but is an extension of helping the Valley solve issues it has in a variety of areas, whether it's healthcare or teacher shortage or other areas. That's something new and exciting to me, and I hope that we always make it an integral part of our mission as we work. I like to say that where do we go now in that context of who I am and what the last presidents did at this institution? I see my job, and this is perhaps overly simplistic, but one of calibration of the mission. We had the founder work for many years with great force in a certain direction. We had the follower to the founder bring a new vision, bring new ideas. Part of what we need to do now is calibrate those worlds and keep moving forward. And I think that how do we do that? How does the calibration work? Well, I like for us to sort of ask a very simple question. It applies to all students, but particularly undergraduate, but it really applies to all students. And we all have answers to this in our minds, to this simple question is, why would someone choose to come to Heritage? Why come here to study? And I know all of you have ideas. We have, David presented some ideas already on the marketing side. But I'm going to offer an answer. And it's a very simple answer too. The question is very simple. Why come to Heritage? The answer is because we're better than anybody else at what we do. We are the better institution. And we have to believe it. If we don't believe it, we're not going to be. And perhaps in some respects, we are not better. Better than the competition. This is the United States, there's competition. We are better than the competition, and if we do not believe it, it means that we have to work every single moment to achieve that. Our goal is to achieve that. We are going to be better. People are going to choose us to come here because we are better. And what do we mean by being better? It's not necessarily that we're the most selected institution in the region that admits only people that are going to be highly successful. It's not necessarily the one with the best physical facilities in the region, although they are pretty nice. Not necessarily the one that has Windows 10 already in technology, although we will. Not the one that has athletic programs, although I do understand that some students do participate in some sports, not traditional collegiate sports, but they do participate, and that's great. We are better. We have, and if we're not, we have to be better. That's going to be our guiding force, I hope. We are better because we serve better the population we've chosen to serve. We offer them the better educational choice to the people we have chosen to serve, and that other institutions have, and this is important, have purposely chosen not to serve. We've chosen to serve the people that other institutions have chosen not to. And we serve them to prepare them. This is part of why we are better, or we will be better, because we know what are the opportunities out there in the 21st century in terms of careers, in terms of personal growth, and we will prepare them for that. That's how we need to shape our programs. That's how we need to shape our supports. And that's what will guide me, and I hope will guide all of us in the next few years, is to really work towards being better and being cost-effective at the same time. Because there's limitations to what we can do with the resources we have. We cannot double our tuition, but we're not going to make it in terms of income. It's not going to happen. We would need to discount it. So within the abilities that we have, the fundraising that we can do, the tuition we can charge, with the supports we have from the external systems that exist in terms of financial aid, we need to be the institution that's going to serve the people that we've chosen to serve better than anybody else. And we do so because we believe in them. We believe in their ability, no matter what background they bring, no matter how old they are. We believe in their ability to succeed, and that with the proper support, and the care that we provide for them in the classroom, outside the classroom, they're going to succeed. And in other institutions, they will not. And actually, we know that already to be true in many cases. We can improve, that's our goal, we're going to be better, we're going to get better, but we already know that many students perhaps don't choose to go elsewhere, and then they come here later. They did not find what they needed at the other place. We need to capitalize on that and continue to grow that. What does success look like in this world? How do we measure that we are better? Is that we will have, very simple, we need metrics for this, but we will have programs that are consistent with the needs of the region, with the accreditation standards, higher education expectations, and with the aspirations of our students. That's what it's all about, really. That we are, as I started saying, we are unique, we are different because of who we've chosen to serve, but yet we do fit in the world of higher education because we believe in it too. We believe in the education that the higher education systems bring in the United States. But I would like to say that we do have to do first things first. And there's work in all areas, every single area around you here that I would like to focus on, learn more from what you're doing and how I can support you to do better. But first things first, what I've learned in this month, we're going to be so focused on growing enrollment this next few months this year, because that's the first thing we have to do. We have to be focused on growing enrollment, and it begins in admission of new students. Retention is a part of it too, of course, and I understand that, but it begins with admissions of new students. And I'd like to say that this is an issue that is not an admissions office issue. It's an entire institution issue. We all will have to play a very strong role in the next few months in helping transform the way we think about admitting new students, welcoming new students at Heritage, so that we fulfill our mission. But equally important and pragmatically, we need to grow enrollment so that we can have a better fiscal situation, financial situation of the institution. We will not accomplish any of our other goals if we don't have the resources. And we can bring more people. We can look at statistics of the Valley and see the people that graduate from high schools, see the adults that we missed along the line. It often happens in a mission like the one we have at Heritage University, that we want to bring everybody when they graduate from high school when they're 18, and we go there, we send admissions people there, but there's quite a few of them that we cannot get their attention at that moment, right? I mean, they're like somewhere else, and they don't go to school, and then suddenly 4, 5, 6, 10 years go by, and then you discover that they need to do something with their lives, and they become very good, solid students, and we want to welcome them too. But we will be razor sharp focused on admissions this year, meaning that we will work with the admissions team, with the student services team, looking at our policies, looking at our systems, providing supports and training, looking at our financial aid policy, see if we can improve the packages we give our students without hurting our financial standing. But there's work we have to do there. We definitely, that was alluded to by David earlier, but definitely we need to focus on marketing and strengthen that, create a strong branding. Again, this is a new world. Perhaps it used to be 30 years ago that it was viewed negatively in institutions, higher education, that had to do marketing. That's like, no, Coke does that. We're so good that we actually pretend we hide. They need to find us. They need to come and find us because we're so good we're hidden. Those days are gone. Those days are gone. You need strong messaging, and we need to provide that to encourage people to attend here. We need to improve our face in our website and other related materials. And also, we need to look at a variety of other areas that are going to help admissions that are not related to that office or marketing. We need to look at how we schedule classes. We need to look at how we deliver the programs we have, other alternative ways of delivering them that could help serve some people that currently we have difficulty serving within that context. As I said, we also need to focus on retention. I actually, from what I've seen, I have seen great institutional commitment to retention. Retention is hard because there's so many variables involved that fall outside of what each one of you individually can do, that it makes it very hard. Although often if we work together, we can find solutions to individual student cases. But retention is very hard, and I see great leadership and efforts from many, and faculty and staff, in trying to find ways to help our students stay here. And I like the initiatives that we're beginning now. Fly First, First Flight, is that the right name? First Flight? Yeah, I like that. I'll volunteer to take a student or two. It may be a bad idea. I don't know. The students are going to be intimidated having to see the it's like going to the principal's office rather than seeing someone that's going to support you. But hopefully, I will volunteer, and we'll see if we find the right person that I can help. And another area that is going to be an important focus for me that involves everybody indirectly, of course, it's as any president's job, is to continue the efforts in fundraising at this institution. This very good work has been done here. To be where we are and with the mission that we have, and to bring the resources we do bring, is actually quite an achievement. But we need to do more. We need to continue to grow that area, so we will continue to reach out to friends of the institution, make new friends here in the Valley and outside of it. There's lots of friends we can make on, and I'm learning the language here, the other side of the mountains. There's lots of friends we can make there. And I think that at this stage, it's a great opportunity that we all have, because I am new, and I do want all your input. I want you to help me shape, based on some grand ideas that we have to be better, that we have to continue with a strong mission because we've chosen that to serve the students. But how do we shape those concepts? Is work I really want to do with all of you. You are the ones that help me. It was mentioned earlier, and I agree, that no, it's not the president or vice president that have all the solutions. In fact, we don't want that burden. We want to share that with all of you. And that's where we are. That's where I believe we should go. There's many things we need to work at this institution, but really the biggest priority is going to be working in admissions as an institutional goal, not an admissions office goal for the next few months, probably the first year. And you know what? We're not going to see the results next fall. It takes a couple. We will see some, and then it'll take another year before, if you implement new systems, the true results happen over time. So we have to be patient with that process, but we have to do it. So I'm going to end now. I'm going to conclude with a bit of a joke, maybe that maybe some of you have heard. But have you heard about the person that keeps on telling his mom, "I don't want to go to school," or that "I really don't want to go to school"? Why? Why don't you want to go? "No, I hate school. The teachers are mean. The students are mean. I have no friends. I don't want to go to school." Says, "But you have to," says the mom. "You have to go to school." "Why do I have to?" "Because you're the principal." I hope that that's not going to be my life. I want to work with you. I want to have us all engaged, and I want us to achieve goals so that we can be truly proud of this institution, and we can be an example of what higher education should look like in the 21st century in the United States and perhaps even beyond. A place that is truly democratic, inclusive, that everybody who wants to progress can do it and has the opportunity to do so. That's our mission, that's our goal, and that's what we need to work for. And I thank you for your attention, and I'm ready to take questions if you have them.
Favorite place you lived growing up? Favorite place you lived growing up?
Toppenish. Well, actually, I haven't lived there. I live in Yakima. And And I have to say that part of the reason, there are several reasons that motivated me to come here, the mission being the number one that I share, but I also did like the idea of having a bit of a difference in my life. I've been in Chicago for a long time, and although there's some continuity in my career working with the population that we work here, it is different. It is a very rural area. I was used to a very urban environment. Everybody tells me I'm going to be seeing wildlife as I drive here. I haven't seen any. I saw a dog across the road once. And there's a horse. Some walking the road, there's a horse there. That's about it. But and also I really look forward to something that is new to me, where this institution is located, what its origin is with the Native American population. And I really wanted to learn about that and participate in that world too. So that's sort of the way to answer your question, which is to say, I've lived in several places in my life. Mostly while I was growing up, I go back often. I keep friends everywhere I go. I grew up mostly in South America and Chile. I lived in Mexico for many years. I feel very connected to Mexico. I lived in Africa for a long time, in Mozambique, in Swaziland, in Tanzania. Through those times I learned languages. I believe I'm very open culturally, but I don't look at places as which one's my favorite. I really try to go everywhere I go and take what the place has to offer. And every place has something to offer. Every place has something to offer for us to grow. And I hope that this will be the same way in this region right now. I have to say that some things are different. Some things are different. Driving to the airfield, not the airport, is 10 minutes away. That's great. That's great. But overall, I think it's going to be a great fit in my life and my family's life to live here. Some of it I did not bring. I got 2 adult sons that did not make it, but will come and visit, and I hope many of you get a chance to meet them too as they visit campus.
You probably had a chance to answer this to many people already, but how do you want to be addressed?
Oh, how do I want to be addressed? I haven't given it much thought. What should I say? What's the? I think that we all understand that the way we work in public settings often requires some formality that in private settings we can have in a different way. And that's sort of the way I've always viewed relationships. People using my first name, we're in a situation where that's appropriate. At other times I think it's appropriate for us to use our titles when that's appropriate. And I think all of you are professional enough to know those situations. So feel free to call me with my first name when it's appropriate, and Dr. Sun when it's appropriate. You will know that. You will know the places. And if not, someone will tell you. Not me, but someone will tell you you should have done that. Yes?
I know that you taught at your previous institution. Do you have like a class that you really enjoyed teaching while you were teaching?
Well, I don't have actually that varied experience teaching. Most of the teaching I did, and I did enjoy it, but was Survey American History 1865 to present. That was what I taught most of the time, and I did enjoy it. I have taught other courses, and I mean, I've had opportunities to teach Latin American history and African history that I enjoyed a lot, but I cannot really say that I have vast experience of that because it was only a couple of times here and there. I have a PhD in education, never had an opportunity to teach in that area. And at some point, I'm not ready for that now, but I would like to explore how that might fit in my life here. Let me tell you, most presidents like to say that we would love to teach, but we don't have time and things like that. It is actually true. I did try, as president, I did try to teach a couple of times, and it ended up being unfair on the students because I had to cancel class because I was called at a meeting here or there, bring a substitute, and in the end, it was an unfair process for the students. So if at some point we could come up with ways of solving that, I may consider it again. I would enjoy that. Or also guest, being a guest, happy to do that. I don't know what I'd be good at guesting, but you will know. You will know. 1, 2. No, that's you. 1. Yes.
As a matter of connection, who are you outside of the university? Your hobbies, pursuits, passions, interests?
Very boring. I mean, I used to be, I've said this to a few people, I used to be very outdoors oriented earlier in my life, but after 25 years in Chicago, I've become not that. And I'm looking forward to the possibility of doing it here. I'm a little scared though, will I be able to? After a while, I mean, like, I'm not sure I'd be that happy in a tent anymore like I used to be. I may try. I do, like all people that work in the academy, I do like reading and following the news and being connected that way. I'm also a bit of a sports fan. I do like watching sports more than doing them nowadays. Having grown up mostly outside the United States, soccer is very important in my life, and that was part of the negotiations with the IT office that they needed to help me find the right channels and television to make sure that I can watch the English Premier League, which unfortunately it's incredibly early here. And Chicago was a challenge already with some games at 7 a.m. on Saturdays and Sunday. Here they're at 5 a.m. But I will watch them. Football I enjoy watching too. We will see how this relationship with the Seahawks goes. And lastly, given the background I have, I do really, and I'm not sure how this is going to work here, although there's new opportunities for that at different places. I do like traveling a lot. I do like being in different places. Not so much the ride there, but once I'm in a new place, new culture, new language, new ideas, I get a lot of fulfillment out of that. And there may be more things I like that I'm not remembering right now, but you will find out over time as we talk about it. You have questions like this.
I appreciate your emphasis on saying that we choose and have chosen consistently to serve the particular students we serve, and that we've chosen students who other places have chosen not to. That means a lot. And I think that your sense of our institutional history is spot on, describing the different phases and different roles of the presidents. One thing that has been remarkably consistent, I'm sure from the founding days all the way to the present, is that a large percentage of our students come to Heritage not college ready in writing, not college ready in math, and I would add to that not college ready in science. I think the science department would say that. You've talked a lot about increasing enrollment, and remedial education is going to be central to that, and I know that you have a lot of experience in your path with that as well. I'm wondering if you have a sense yet of what you think this place should do in thinking about getting students college ready before they walk in the door.
Yeah, I have sort of mixed and complex feelings about that topic. I actually often question myself, what does college ready mean? But that at times is externally imposed, right? I mean, I actually disagree with the external imposition of what college ready means, but we do know what the government will pay for in terms of financial aid or for how long. That has shifted over time, because it used to be possible to have students attend institution for far longer periods using financial aid and being able to do work that, again, not the prettiest word, remedial, could be done. And those days seem to be gone. We're being cut and cut and cut. So we're going to follow the traditional designation of what college ready means that has been externally imposed on us. Is like you need to be ready for coming in to go into an English composition type class and to go into math, college type math class, statistics or something else. And it's important that because of the way that higher ed financing works, it's important that we try to be consistent that we are not abusing students' time with that. So I understand that constraint. I don't like it, but I understand it. We know, and we're not going to change this, we know that, what is it, 94%? Celestino, you mentioned this to me before, 94% of people entering Heritage are not math ready.
College ready.
College ready in math. That's everybody. I mean, that's almost everybody. That means it's a dozen students maybe that are ready that in a new group that we have. That's almost everybody. In English, it's not as dire, but it is similar. So I think we will need to continue to be very creative in how do we help students reach that level. There's been great work from the little I know that has been done here in that area, that we can move students pretty quickly in both math and English to be college ready. I would like to explore more ways in which we can do that throughout the year. And maybe we're doing it already, but I see a great intensity of that in the summer. But we perhaps need to be doing that throughout the year with people at different times. And like anything else, who pays for that, right? So we need to see if there's friends out there that would be willing. It's not the fun part of higher education, but it's an important part. If there's friends out there that would support, saying that if we're going to be true to our mission, we need to welcome all those people, but we cannot set them up for failure. So we need to provide the systems for them to be successful. We need to do it quickly. And we need to understand, at least in my opinion, that education is really not linear. People, that's the way we used to think years ago, that you need to learn how to add before you learn how to subtract, before you learn how to multiply, and it's sort of learning is a linear thing. And it's not. It's a multi-dimensional, 360, maybe more than 3 dimensions process that you gather information, bits and pieces, and maybe we're not going to fill all the vacuums that students bring. But we will get them to be successful in the coursework that we're offering them. That's going to make significant differences in their lives. And that's always going to be negotiated. That's a process that needs to be negotiated all the time. What is it that we can do in terms of the gaps people bring that we can impact on a timely manner so that they can go into what they really want, and what we really are not going to address because it's not that necessary anymore. Maybe it's really not that necessary, and forgive me if I've hurt people's feelings, but really it's not that necessary to understand square roots that well or something for what you need to achieve in other areas. That's only an example, maybe a bad one. Or maybe appropriate for many people that we don't know. And I think that's work that will continue to happen in our institution, because I really don't want to close the door to someone that shows up saying, I want to improve my life through higher education, but I'm not ready. And if you're working with someone that has a job and maybe has kids, and you give them a path that is what the community college path has been traditionally, okay, well, maybe you need to go to ESL classes for a couple of years, and then maybe you need to do some pre-college math, and maybe 4 or 5 years from now, you're going to be hitting your first college classes. You sent them away. I mean, you told them you're going to be 45 before you're ever earn a degree, and so we need to do better than that. We need to find the paths that we can be creative, that we can move them quickly, that we can do it throughout the year, and that we work with an understanding that we're going to try and help people improve in what we can touch quickly. That's going to help them be successful in the classes we have here. And that's particularly true with people that come with English as a second language, that come in and they can very quickly learn the complexities of writing an essay and having an introduction and a body and a conclusion and analytical thoughts and all that, and you will still see grammar errors from the second language years after. You got to keep on trying, but they're still learning. They're still making progress with the things we want them to make progress. So that's where our creativity has to come in terms of how we work with them to make sure that the college door is open and that the path to success is here. Yes.
We're located geographically remote, maybe isolated, and that can lead, I think, to an insular perspective. But as the comments by the provost indicated, our mission is connected to an idea, to an objective, and a goal that increasingly is of national importance. And so I'm wondering, what are your thoughts in terms of networking or projecting or communicating Heritage University in that larger stage, that larger mission? We do have specific objectives here, and that may relate to branding, but I think we also have to be aware of what we're doing and its connection to that larger.
Yeah, it's a very good question, and I do believe, I said that it's sort of my overarching goal is that we are an example nationwide of what higher education should look like, and you can only do that by being exposed, otherwise people will not know. And often we are so isolated geographically, but also isolated just by the daily life we lead at work, that we're so busy with the tasks we need to fulfill that we often forget that we're in a larger world. I don't mean to be flip because it's a very serious project, but at times maybe many of you also wonder what's going on. We've dedicated our lives to serve a minority population in this country and in higher education, and it seems that they are exactly what our government right now is saying. We're not that interested. We're not that interested in higher education. We're not that interested in that population. And we need to fight that. And we need to make our presence known. I was part of it before. I support some organizations that exist nationwide that Heritage has been a part of. One is the Yes We Must Coalition that some of you have worked on. And I support participating, particularly the advocacy side of that. I've also supported, although I have my concerns with them too, but I've supported the Hispanic Association of Colleges and Universities that we're also a member, and I'm actually a board member of that organization. And I will make sure that we are an example of what we should be doing in terms of education in the United States, and that we're an example in this region also. I have to say though that there we are following, all of us, me and you, we are following on the footsteps of our predecessors, because Sister Kathleen was a MacArthur Genius Fellow. That does not happen by being isolated. She must have been all over. You don't apply for that. You're nominated and given someone else. So that means that there must have been tremendous presence of Heritage all over, and I think we need to continue in that tradition. I'm not looking for the MacArthur. Don't nominate me for the MacArthur. Yeah. Yes?
I have a similar question, but this has to do with our own internal vision. When you talked about we do it better, I believe we do it better. I truly think that when we look at what we are doing here, I am very proud and pleased and amazed at what we do better for the students that we serve. However, I think that we need to come to a place where we all, as partners inside of our university, need to claim that and use that spirit to heal. We have come through a very difficult time, financially and also in terms of internal pain that we have experienced in the last couple of years. As our new president, I'm wondering if you've had a chance yet, and maybe you have not had a chance yet, to give us some inspirational words and also some processes that we might start using to say those positive things and to really believe in them. I believe in them because I'm looking at what we're doing and I'm amazed. And to address each other in a way that brings us to a place where we are united in our beliefs that we actually do better.
You mean I was not inspirational enough? No, I'm not going to ask you to answer that. I take most of what you said more as a comment than a question that I agree with. I do strongly agree. I am new here, so I'm familiar more or less at the same level you presented it with some of the issues that have happened in the past, but I am not familiar in detail with everything that happened. Maybe I shouldn't be. Maybe the point is actually to to move beyond that. I strongly believe that we are better, and if we're not, we need to make ourselves better. I strongly believe that each one of you believes that too, except that often we believe it in different ways. We often believe, I know I'm better, I'm the best at this, but it's that other department over there that they're not as good. And that other department actually thinks that they are better, and there's the other department that's not as good. That's what we need to work with. I can present it here in general terms, but as we move to the specifics, that's where we need to work, that we all need to understand that we have to be better. Maybe we're not. I mean, this is a call for inspiration and action more than accepting we're already better, let's take the rest of the day off. No, we need to, if we are going to make it as an institution, it's because we believe we're better at serving the students than we do, and we actually are, and we all work together to support everybody in assuring that we reach that level. And in order to heal whatever wounds exist in this institution, we need to take it that way. We need to work with each other in assuming that we're all going to support everybody else to achieve the goals of this institution, which is to be an example to everyone else of how you can serve a population that other people don't want to serve, and we can do it in a way that is inspirational to everyone in the nation and beyond, maybe. That's hard work. We're not going to accomplish that overnight. And where there's wounds, there's distrusts, and there's all sorts of things that exist that we will need to overcome, because I think you all know that if we don't, it's nothing good's going to happen. I mean, we're not going to improve anything if we don't manage to overcome whatever distrust we have of each other from the past. And a lot of it will happen, in my opinion, through transparency, being open about it, being accessible about it, and then finding the right processes and systems to address them. But there is, in my opinion, a level of work we have to do here that, and I'm a very structurally minded person, but goes beyond structure. We can look at our structures, we can improve them, we can look at our systems, we can improve them, but a lot of it is also going to fall more on the affective side, and it's believing in ourselves and believing in each other, that with all our limitations, we have people here that have been here 30, 35 years, people that have been here a month or two. We all have things to contribute. We all have our limitations. We will need to learn. We need to learn, and that's part of my job, of course. We need to learn to capitalize on all those so that we can work together and move to the places we want to go into. I hope that today I'm giving you an overall picture of how I believe we need to think about things, but it's not the details of how we're going to do it every day. That's going to be happening every day. Yes?
You mentioned a while ago that the early part of your time as president is going to be spent calibrating the institution. So fast forward to about 2-3 years from now, what are some of the key indicators that you'll be looking at to get a sense of whether we're properly calibrated and on the right path?
Yeah. The key indicators, right? I mean, these are pretty traditional ones that we will see our student graduating in larger numbers than we have now. I will have specific figures eventually, but we're developing those. That we have increased our enrollment to a way that's healthy, that we believe we can accomplish the tasks we have at hand, and we're not all fearing on a daily basis for our jobs because there may be additional cuts coming at any time. That we are recognized by accrediting agencies and other external bodies for the great work we do. And that we have a level of satisfaction with our work and our lives that contrasts highly with where many people are today. That's in a nutshell. We can develop it more. Everybody happy? One one final thought, I'm really looking forward to next Monday because I have not seen this institution in action with students walking around. I see a few here and there. I'm really looking forward to starting the semester. And please, all of you have a wonderful semester. Be good to the students, but be good to each other. And remember that, I saw someone raise their hand and reminded me that. Remember that I invited everyone this afternoon to a sort of picnic, potluck type thing. I hope you all can attend. I hope that all of you invited your families too. It may not be that logistically possible at times, but if it is, please bring them over. We'll be around trying to meet 3 different things at the same time, but we will be there trying to cook a little. My commitment was to have hamburgers and hot dogs for everybody. That's what I contributed, and I think pop too or something, right? I mean, do we call it pop or soda? Soda here. I hope you all have a great time and get to know each other in a different context later today. So be good to each other.